Welcome everyone. Welcome to Code with Femi. Today I have like two awesome guys joining the channel today. We've got Vian and Donovan. We work together
Hello.
Hello.
at Red Panda. I will let them actually introduce themselves. Hey guys, over to you guys.
Hello, I'm Wian. I work at Red Panda with Femi and my twin brother Donovan here.
Hello, my name is Donovan. I also work at Red Panda with Femi, and we've been working together for just about over a year now.
Nice, amazing. So, what are we chatting today about? What is the chat about today?
So today we're gonna basically be handling mob programming, working together as a group, some Jira, and a bit of bug fixing.
Beautiful. So I'm just gonna switch to the Jira board that we've actually prepped up, which is this one. So we've got a mob programming going on here, where we've actually created some tickets, just to create a simple API, add bug to the API, fix the bug, and actually add a unit test. So this is actually things that we've already done, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
And
yep.
we're just gonna talk through it and actually just let you guys actually understand what is going on there and the actual benefit of actually working together. Let me just open up the actual stuff. So what we've got here is actually an API. So Donovan, do you want to speak about this actual solution we have here currently, or VN?
Yeah, I can do that. So our solution is just a normal, easy to understand weather forecast. We just have basically two classes, one for warm forecast and one for cold forecasting. And all that we're basically doing is we're going to be giving it a temperature and we're going to check if it's warm or cold. So in our specific program, we have it set up to be warm if it's more than 20 or higher. And if it's below that, it will be cold. So you can see we have a couple of summaries set up there, warm, balmy, hot. Those are our warm summaries, freezing, bracing, chilly. Those ones will be our cold summaries.
Yeah, but I need to follow you. Are you moving around the code as well?
Not at the moment. I
I think
can.
he's just explaining what's on your screen,
Oh,
so
okay.
it
Yeah.
should be fine.
Sorry, I was actually trying to see if he was doing something somewhere else.
No, it's just on the same screen
Okay,
still.
okay, beautiful.
So we just have a nice check here in the middle. We just check if it's less than 20, we do go through the cold summary. If it's otherwise, we'll just return a warm summary and we just return that. And then we'll have a test to check if it's warm or cold and if it's what we expect it to be.
Nice, man. So what is actually the benefit of working together, and what is the whole goal? Yeah, like, because there are cases where guys are like the other developers or software engineers, they prefer to just work in their own space. Like, can we just talk more around the more programming, because we're here together now looking at the code together, and some engineers or some developers are not really comfortable doing that. Why do you find it comfortable to speak about this now without any concern or worry?
So I think one of the main benefits is you can share knowledge.
Mm.
It really helps to have the different perspectives and backgrounds from different people coming together into one program. If you are as one developer looking at something, you have your own knowledge, so you might be able to develop the program, but with the help of other developers, you can develop it in a better way, a better solution, maybe more robust.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's always like positives and negatives to every like coding way, but in this case, the negatives are outweighed by the positives, especially because the thing is you can share your knowledge, like Donovan said. It helps everyone understand what is going on and how the solution should work. This helps you avoid creating bugs during your coding, creating inefficient code, because there's just more people that can help in writing the code right the first time.
Yeah, that's good, because actually it also helps in terms of harmony, harmonizing the team. and
Oh,
also letting everyone understand that it is
yeah.
actually we driving towards the same goal. We want to make this happen. We want this code to be as quality as possible, and we want to make sure that we can reduce as much bugs it has in it. And one of the things that we've done on this API is we've actually come up with a unit test. So can we just go in there and do some stuff on the actual API and see how we can fix it together, put some bugs in it, and all of that.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can swap some things around here. Change some things. Let me see if I can. I've caused two bugs now, so our unit test should fail now.
So we can. I'm just gonna run the actual test now because we're just playing around with this now. But let's run it again. Let's see what's gonna happen when we do this now, because Donovan just changed the code, and we can just see what happens. When we run the actual test.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, unit test provides a huge benefit as let's say you have an application that's 800 lines of code, hundreds of methods. Who knows? You can't always just run your application test through every single method just to get to the one you want to test. So unit test allows you to test your methods in isolation to make sure that they actually work.
Definitely. Thank you, Vian. So if you go back to the actual unit test, we can see there that the actual test is failing, and now this is where you can see in the actual. Just gonna expand this a little bit so we can see. You can see that it was actually expecting warm, but we're now getting freezing for some reason. And in there as well, same story for. And this actual test, we make sure that we give them like a proper descriptive name so that you can actually know what test is actually failing. For each of them, we make sure that the actual method we've implemented is I'm sorry, yeah, there we give it a name to say can check for hot weather summaries, and can check for cold weather summaries. So we're expecting that when we do the assertion, we only should see cold weather summaries, but it seems like it has been there's bugs in the actual code now. And this is where mob programming can actually help, where now we've got guys that are like, okay, there's a bug and now it's critical, we want to go into production, and for some reason we need more hands to actually really fix this as quick as we can. So can we just go through this quickly and see how we can fix this and actually quickly refactor this to actually do the necessary bits and pieces.
Yeah, so I think the easiest is let's take a look at what the message is saying. And if we check there, we can see it's expecting for the warm one, um, it's expecting warm summaries. Femi, if you can just share the unit test failure message again.
Okay.
You can see there it's expecting warm, but it was freezing.
Mm.
Now, if we take a look at our two summaries there, you can see they're in two different arrays. The top one starts with warm, while the one just below the cold summary starts with freezing. So that would indicate to us that it's checking the wrong one. So it's the wrong way around.
Yeah. So when we go to our code, luckily in this case we're just assigning the arrays outright in just one single place, so we only have one place to check. And in this case, our temperature, if it's above 20, we're assigning cold summaries instead of warm summaries. In our unit test, Femi, you can follow me if you want.
Okay, let me do that. Yeah, I think that is much more easier.
So here we see if temperature is higher than 20, we're returning cold summaries, else we're returning warm summaries. In our unit test, we have two tests, if weather controller.get 25. So this means we're calling our controller method, giving it 25. We should be getting warm summaries. And if we use 19, we should be getting cold summaries. So that would say our assertion is either incorrect or the code should is incorrect. In this case, it's the code because we're returning the cold array, when we're above 20 degrees. So the 25 should be the warm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we can actually just debug this, right? And actually see what is going on.
yes.
So let's just put a breakpoint, yeah? Since we know it's failing now, and then, so I'm just gonna run this. And then we can put in a value from the actual Swagger page.
Swagger doc, yeah.
Yeah. And also in terms of actually like being able to spot bug easily, it's much more easier if there's a lot of more pair of eyes actually looking at the actual code.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, it's easy because obviously we created the bug now, but in a real life scenario, you're going to have like maybe 2,000 lines of code in a single class. Ideally, that wouldn't be the case, but you would go through multiple classes, multiple methods, and it could be something very small, like you could have an if check that's not set up correctly.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, it gets very difficult.
So we're just gonna try to hit the actual API endpoint from here. And for those of us that does not know what this is actually an open API that actually helps you to be able to document your API, and you can also use it to interact with your API endpoints. So based on the endpoint we've actually exposed, which is your weather forecast get. So get is actually, we use that to get the data from the actual API. So I'm just gonna use the random one. Just gonna use 20. You can use 20 degrees, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just execute this and let's see what happens. So that actually steps in here now, and this is where we actually have to debug, right? So I think everyone can be part of this, right? I want to believe so.
Yes.
Through, and also for just for benefit's sake, we're using live share, Visual Studio live share, and this actually allows you to link up with other developers wherever they are in anywhere in parts of the world, and you guys can actually work together on our actual software. So I'm just gonna go on, and you guys can just let me know.
Yeah,
If you want
so
me to
if we
stop.
check at this if now, we can see it's 20. So if it's above 20, it should give us, it's
One.
going to do one thing. So if you step next,
It will go into the else since
you
it's
see
not
it'll go
above
into the
20.
else. So we wanted, the scenario in this case was if it's 20 and lower, it should be cold, and if it's above that, it should be warm. But in this case, we can see it's going into the wrong place. So that would mean our if statement is incorrect.
Yes.
So if we take a look at our if, we can see if it's above 20, it goes to cold. And otherwise, it'll go to warm.
Yeah, but the temperature now is 20, right?
Yes.
And I was expecting it to tell me that it's gonna be cold, right?
Yes.
So how do we fix this now? So that means that there's something wrong here, right?
Yeah.
We've inverted this now, so we need to say that this temperature must be less than 20 for it to
Yes.
step into this block. So let's fix that. Is someone fixing that on that side?
I can fix it.
Beautiful.
Hopefully it's
Okay, sweet. So now another thing is in terms of because I'm using Visual Studio 2022, I just want to like leverage that quickly. Now we can actually play this back easily. I think we don't have to go any. Let me just see if this is gonna work. I hope this works. And if it doesn't work, we're gonna have to. Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm just gonna use the alt reload. But there's an alt reload now where you don't have to always, restart. Okay, I think it's working now. So now if we check there, since we've inverted it, we should be able to step into this block now, right?
Yep.
Let's go.
so now 20 is not higher than 20, meaning it should go into the first block now.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, I think it's not refreshed yet.
Yeah.
Let's go
I
back.
think the
Yeah,
auto
my
reload
apologies.
function.
I have to reload it.
Okay. See again. Oh no, it's not.
See, I think you might need to restart it.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting it to actually work, but I promise you, like the auto reload actually works in cases where, you've actually implemented a code and you just want to continue like deving. You don't really want to restart your actual Visual Studio. But I'll restart it. Let's start again. This is gonna take a little bit of a time. Let's just see. Okay. So I'm still gonna use the value 20 to actually just hit this endpoint. So this is
20
actually the 20.
If we look at the code, 20 is actually supposed to go into warm at this point because we've inverted it to less than 20, but 20 is not less than 20, it's equal to 20. So if we want 20 to go into cold, we need to add the equal sign as well to that if statement.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, that is one thing that we pick up in terms of mob programming, right? So basically, just one person doing this might miss that. So this is actually one of the benefit now. I'm actually playing the the junior developer here. So yeah, we've got that there, and then we have the actual weather forecast again, and then I'm just gonna put in 20. Let's just put in 20 here. Let's see. Hopefully that hits this or not. Okay, we're getting something back here, but it seems like the debug is not.
I think you might need to just do another restart, yeah.
Yeah. So what else can we fix here whilst that is running? Actually, the whole idea as well is to actually like keep code as minimal as possible, and also as clean as possible. So what can you think we can refactor here since we're here together?
There's definitely a lot better way to do that if statement. You don't need to have the massive statement as such a big if. There's a lot cleaner way to actually do it.
Yeah, and then obviously you can always just do that in your return as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's just refactor that, but let's just test it first before we go on to that refactoring. Let's just see that the code is actually really working, and then we can do some cleanups, because I think that is also part of one of the things that helps in terms of more programming is you might have done something in a way that you think it's clean enough, but someone else can still give some input to say no, we can do it in a much more better way and in a much more cleaner way. So we have that now, and that should go into code summary now, because we say now that 20 degrees and below should actually go into code summary.
Cold. Yep.
And then we have code summaries then, and then that is fine, right? So that is one of the bugs we've actually fixed, which is now we're getting what are we getting back now? Are we getting the data back now? Yeah, let me just scroll down. I think we're getting the actual
the code
summary
back
now. But now from a user point of view, there's nothing like coolies. Is there anything like coolies?
Nope. It should be cool.
Yeah, so the user is gonna like log up a report and say no, but the system is saying coolies now. That is not right. It should say cool, right? So let's go back to the code. I want to go in here, and then we can see that we've had coolies there. And also we can actually quickly fix that, right? Just gonna remove
we can
that.
cross-reference it with our unit test as well if we need to.
Yes. So, and that's another thing we can do. Like, we can go in there and actually see, because we have cool here, and that is what it should actually be. And
and again, you don't even have to test via the Swagger. You can just run your unit tests, and they would tell you that coolies does not match with cool.
Definitely. I think this Visual Studio is a little bit buggy, but let's just run the test this time and see what happens. But now I think the best is to debug it, right?
Yes.
Let's debug that. And also, like Wian mentioned earlier on, like this is actually very valuable to your actual source code, because you need to make sure that you have unit tests to cover your actual software, so that in terms of when you shipping out your actual software, then when there's a problem, the unit test will actually raise it and say, oh, there's a problem here, and that helps to actually fix the to know what the issue is, and you can easily fix it. So we run into two unit tests here, right? And then we have
Yeah.
Yep.
the setup, which is so the setup. Like, can we just speak a little bit about the setup before we move on?
Yeah, so the setup allows us in this case to create our global variables that we're going to be using once.
So
So
yeah,
let's say, example, we have 10, 50 methods. We don't have to create cold summaries multiple times if you want to use it multiple times in each one of them.
Yeah, in this case we are using weather forecast controller in both of our unit tests. So by setting it up in the setup, we only have to actually create that once. So it will save memory and it'll be faster in the long run, especially if you have a lot of tests.
yeah, because this is where we initialize most of our
Hmm.
stuff we need for the
Yes.
test to prep the data for the test. So I'm just gonna like continue, and then we can see that we checking for code, right?
Yep.
And in there we can see it's stepping into our code again, but we can actually just go back to the actual test just to you know save time, and then we can expect the actual results that we see here. So we've got 5 strings here, and now we can see it's saying mild, cool, chilly, braising, and freezing. So that means this is fine, I want to believe, right?
Yeah, we would
Yep.
compare that with our cold array that we set up in the startup.
And that is it. That actually shows us that it's actually green, right? It tells us
Yep.
that
Yeah.
our code is back to its normal state, which is nice. And then we have the next step, which is run the next unit test, and that would have the same. I want to believe it will have the right one because we didn't create any
Yeah.
bugs in here,
Yep, it should be the same result, which should be successful.
which is perfect. So this is happy now, right? So let's go back to the actual refactoring we picked up there quickly, and then we can actually just wrap this up. Um, so in terms of this one, we just want to make it much more cleaner, right? So how can we
Yeah.
refactor this to just make it like,
Yeah, so obviously, first thing you can do is update this if else statement to basically make it in a single line when you create your variable, and then we can also always just move that into this return. So
okay,
we can basically remove all of this code and just have it in our return.
yeah. So let's do that. Who wants to drive? Um, so
So we
we
would
can,
say
yeah.
summaries.
So we can fix it. We can fix it even up here. We don't have to.
Yeah,
We can do
yeah.
it
Let's
first up
just
here. So
do it
so
in
basically,
here, I
this is the
guess.
actual check we're doing, right? This one.
Yep,
Yep.
is
Yeah.
temperatures.
So we can do the check here and actually do something like this, isn't it?
Yep, summaries is temperature.
Yeah.
If our temperature is smaller or equal to 20, then we return our cold summaries, and then we can add our warm summaries into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we can add an else.
Oops.
So you can just do something like this. And
So
you
yeah,
can add an else. So if it's less or equal to 20, it'll do cold summaries. Else it'll do your warm summaries.
so obviously in this case, question mark is if, and
Yes.
a
Else.
colon is else.
Yeah.
This equals basically treats this thing as if it's in brackets. So
Mm.
as if this whole thing is one
Yeah.
single statement. You don't need the brackets.
Yes. And so we have the logic, right? And then we can actually just extract this out of here and just like stick it right in front of this guy, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
And
this
then we can
saves.
remove the entire if else can go then.
Yeah. This is beautiful. And then we can even go further to say, like Vian mentioned, we can actually just say, there's no point actually even doing all of that. Can do
Yep.
this.
And then we just put that
It
our
saves us a
entire
lot of lines of code.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
yeah.
the one important thing about mob programming that people need to more overcome than anything else is from a mentality point of view, a lot of people struggle to work with a lot of people coding like this because it feels to them like if they get stuck, people are going to see them get stuck. But it's a big teamwork effort, more programming. If you get stuck, there's a lot of people on the call not to see that you get stuck, but to help you when you get stuck. It's a different type of mentality you need to have.
I do agree. Like I think this is what different teams should actually like adopt. Being able to
Yes.
be courage, to have the courage to say, "I don't know this. I'm stuck. Please help." And also the actual team members should also be able to show some care and to be kind to their team members and say, "I need to help. I need to assist here." It's not about your competence level, but it's more around just growing each other and getting better with each other.
Yep.
Because things happen, like in the technical in
Yep.
the you guys know what technical glitches we faced even before we started recording, and we fixed it together.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that is what makes more programming a lot more beautiful. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and let's just run our test one more time before we sign off, just to be sure we haven't broken anything yet.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna run the test every time you change the code. You need to always run the test just to be sure that.
Yep. Because sometimes you think, oh, but it's just something minor, and then that minor thing breaks your tests. That's
Yeah,
how it usually goes.
definitely. Um, yeah, it's running the test now. Yeah, I think it's happy.
Yep. In this case, our tests are happy.
Yeah, I think that actually wraps it up for us, and I hope you guys actually enjoyed this session. Yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment on this channel, and we'll see you next time. Keep well.
Bye.
Cheers.